Hello, all. Welcome to another Lights On discussion session. And this week we'll be talking about the Russian film Come and See. It's a film by Elem Klimov that got released in 1985 and is widely considered as the greatest anti-war film. I intentionally mentioned this statement anti-war because it's something that we'll be revisiting over the course of this conversation. Um, so Vikram and I will be having this conversation. So
Oh, okay. So first question is, I know it's one of the greatest of films. Is it one of the greatest of anti-war films or greatest of anti-war films involving Nazi and
இல்ல
the
anti-war greatest anti-war தான் சொல்றாங்க.
mm,
அது because of its portrayal of the war and
mm,
there is very there is very less aesthetics involved. It is
mm,
just
yeah.
brutalங்கிறதுனால வந்து அதை வச்சு வந்து they're calling it the greatest anti-war film. So uh, yeah,
So Apocalypse Now is also considered anti-war then.
it is. அது ஆனா இது ரொம்ப ரொம்ப சப்ஜெக்டிவ் ஸ்டேட்மெண்ட் அது. நான் நான் அதை வந்து ஃபைனல் பார்ட்டுக்கு வந்து அதை வச்சுக்கலாம்னு நினைச்சேன். சரியா, ஓகே. தெர் இஸ் அ ஸ்டேட்மெண்ட் ஃப்ரம் த்ரூஃபோ. ட்ரான்ஸ்ஃபர் த்ரூஃபோ வந்து சொல்லியிருக்காரு, தெர் இஸ் நோ ஃபிலிம் இஸ் தெர் இஸ் அவர் அவர் இருந்தப்ப சொன்னது இது. ஐ ஹவ் நெவர் சீன் அன் ஆன்டி வார் ஃபிலிம் இன் மை லைஃப். எவ்ரி ஃபிலிம் அபவுட் வார் எண்ட்ஸ் அப் பீயிங் அ ப்ரோ வார் ஃபிலிம் அப்படின்னு
Mm,
சொல்லிட்டு அவர் சொல்லியிருக்காரு. ஆஹ் இது இது வந்து தெர் இஸ் அ இப்போ அந்த அந்த அப்போகாலிப்ஸ் நோவோட அந்த ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ஷார்ட்டே எடுத்துக்கோ. தட்
mm,
பாம் அப்படியே வரிசையா வந்து
mm,
ஷார்ட். நோ தெர் இஸ் அ இட்ஸ் அந்த ப்ரூட்டாலிட்டிக்கு முன்னாடி ஒரு லேயர் இருக்குல்ல, விச் இஸ்
mm,
த எஸ்தட்டிக்கலி இட் இஸ்
mm, mm.
an amazing shot.
Yeah, yeah,
The
yeah.
moment I call it an amazing shot. அதனால எப்படி அதை வந்து ஆன்டி வார்லாம் எடுத்துக்க
Correct.
முடியும் அப்படிங்கிறது
Mm,
தெரியல.
yeah,
So it's a very tricky thing to say. That's the that is the problem with being called as the anti-war. ஆனா இந்த படம் வந்து I
yeah, correct.
I agree. It comes
Mm,
closest to ஸோ எனக்கு தெரிஞ்சு வந்து 2 படத்தை வந்து நான் சும்மா இதை பத்தி ரிசர்ச் பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கும்போது நம்ம மசகி கொபயாஷி இருக்கார்ல, ஹராக்கிரி டைரக்டர்.
mm.
அவரோட ஒரு ஒரு டூ ஒரு அது என்ன இந்த 9 ஹவர் ஃபிலிம் ஒன்று வார் பத்தி ஒரு ஒரு படம் அவர் அதுக்கப்புறம் ஹராக்கிரிக்கு அப்புறம் அவர் எடுத்தது இருக்கு.
அந்த படம்
அந்த
பார்க்கல.
ஜாப்பனீஸ்
ஆமா, ஆமா. டூபாட் ஃபிலிம்னோடனே அது ஞாபகம் வந்துச்சு. நான் அந்த படம் பார்க்கல.
யா நானும் பார்க்கல. ஸோ அதையும் வந்து ஆஹ் ஆம், அதையும் வந்து தே ஆர் காலிங் இட் ஒன் ஆஃப் த கிரேட்டஸ்ட் ஆன்டி வார்,
ம்,
ஒன் ஆஃப் த கிரேட்டஸ்ட் ஆன்டி-வார் ஃபிலிம். பட் திஸ் கம்ஸ் க்ளோசஸ்ட் டு இது வரைக்கும் நான் பார்த்ததுல வந்து ஈவன் நாட்ஸி அந்த
ம்,
வேர்ல்ட் வார் 2 பேஸ் பண்ண ஃபிலிம்ஸ்லயே வந்து
ம்,
திஸ் கைண்ட் ஆஃப் அ போர்ட்ரேயல் ஆஃப் வயலன்ஸ் வந்து நானும் பார்த்தது இல்லை. I mean, I've seen
ம்.
my fair share of violent films, but
ம்,
this is one of the most gruesome. Uh, என்னன்னா வந்து I was prepared for it.
ம்.
Okay, அந்த போஸ்டர் ப்ரிப்பேர் பண்ணும்போதே வந்து I got a sense of uh, what is the what is what kind of imagery I can expect from the film.
Is it the first time இப்ப ஃபர்ஸ்ட் டைம் பாக்குறியா?
நான் தான் ஃபர்ஸ்ட் டைம் பார்க்குறேன்
ஓ,
ஆக்சுவலாக.
ஓகே. நான் இப்ப
I had not
பார்க்கணும்னு
seen
நினைச்சேன்.
it in the past. This is the first
போஸ்டர்
time.
வாஸ் அமேசிங் பை த வே. செம அந்த அந்த ஃபீலும் செமையா இருந்துச்சு. அண்ட் அண்ட் இமேஜரிஸ் தட் யூ ஹவ் செலக்டட் ஆல்சோ செமையா இருந்தது.
Yeah, it's a it's very it's a very how do I say it? Um, it's a எனக்கு ஒரு தாட் ப்ராசஸ் வந்து போயிட்டே இருந்தது. ஓகே, அந்த அந்த there was one thought that was kept going on. இந்த ஒரு அப்போகாலிப்டிக் ஃபீலிங், ஒரு 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 எண்ட் ஆஃப் த வேர்ல்ட் ஃபீலிங் வந்து ஃபுல்லா இருந்துட்டே இருந்தது. நான் இப்ப ரீசென்ட்டா தான் வந்து லைக் சின்ஸ் ஐ வாட்ச் லாஸ்ட் ஆஃப் அஸ் ரைட், ஐ கேன் சீ சோ மச் ரிசம்பிளன்ஸ் ஆஃப் த இமேஜரி. லாஸ்ட் ஆஃப் அஸ் ஹேஸ் லாட் ஆஃப் இப்ப உனக்கு வந்து அவங்க காமிக்கிற ஃபீல்ட்ஸா இருக்கட்டும், அந்த ஃபாரஸ்ட்டா இருக்கட்டும், யூ யூ ரியலி யூ ரேர்லி சீ சிவிலைசேஷன். தெர் இஸ் கம்ப்ளீட்டா வந்து எய்தர் இட் இஸ் ஓப்பன் ஏரியா, இல்லைன்னா வந்து யூ சி சோல்ஜர்ஸ், இல்லைன்னா ஃபாரஸ்ட். இதுதான் வந்து திரும்ப 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 இட் இஸ் கெட்டிங் ரிப்பீட்டட். தட் வாஸ் அந்த அப்போகாலிப்டிக் ஃபீலிங் வாஸ் அந்த அந்த கைண்ட் ஆஃப் ஓகே. அந்த அந்த ஃபீல் வாஸ் வெரி 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 எவிடென்ட். தட் வாஸ் அமேசிங். அது என்னன்னா இட்ஸ் நாட் a film that you can revisit ever. I really
பாக்குறதுக்கே கஷ்டமா தான் இருந்துச்சு. இட்ஸ் வெரி அன்செட்லிங் ஃபிலிம். நீ ஃபர்ஸ்ட் அந்த சொன்ன பாயிண்ட் தான் நான் அந்த பேசணும்னு நினைச்சேன். ஸோ எனி வார் ஃபிலிம் at some point it ஊசஸ் அண்ட் தட்ஸ் த ப்ராப்ளம்ல. ஸோ அப்போகலிப்டிக் நவ்வே வந்து ஃபர்ஸ்ட்ல இருந்து அந்த அந்த ஷாட்லாம் பயங்கரமா இருக்குன்னு சொல்லப்போ அது வந்து ஃபார் சம் ரீசன் we have started liking it. But I think அந்த அப்பாகலிப்ஸ் நவ்ல intention is to first see it from the point of view from the top, like the soldiers, and then get involved with them and come out of it நினைக்கிறேன். So two of the anti-war films that I have loved is Apocalypse Now, அப்புறம் இன்னொன்னு Platoon. அதுவும் பயங்கரமா இருக்கும். So Apocalypse Nowல even if you don't like it as an anti-war film, it's still a great film. But that's the problem also, and for an anti-war film, it has to be an anti-war film first, and then what the how the film looks and all that. அதுதான் அது ஒரு டிபேட்டபிள் இதுதான். பட் பிகாஸ் நான் இந்த படம் மேபி முன்னாடி பார்த்திருந்தா அப்போகலிப்ஸ் நவ் கொஞ்சம் லெஸ் அப்பீலிங்கா இருந்திருக்கும். ஏன்னா அப்போகலிப்ஸ் நவ்ல தான் இட்ஸ் த ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ஃபிலிம் வித் டாக்ஸ் அபவுட் அந்த அதுக்கு என்ன வேர்டுன்னு தெரியலையே. அது ஒரு மாதிரி சரியலிஸ்டிக்கா இருக்கிற மாதிரி கொஞ்சம் ஃபீல்லாம்
realistic.
கொண்டு
Yeah.
வந்தது அப்போ. பட்
Yeah.
இந்த படத்துல இட் வாஸ் டன் 2-3 notches above நினைக்கிறேன். I
Yeah.
read the Wikipedia description of this film. I will
Yeah.
read it for you guys.
Yeah.
It had so many adjectives. The film mixes hyper realism with an underlying surrealism and philosophical existentialism with poetical, philosophical, political and apocalyptic themes. அந்த லைன் அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்ட் பண்ணி எல்லா வேர்டும் நம்மளுக்கு தெரிஞ்சு அது என்னன்னு தெரியறதுக்கே நம்மளுக்கு ஒரு வாரம் படிக்கணும்னு நினைக்கிறேன். So
Yeah.
that's how the film was.
Yeah.
The film really gripped at the point where the massacre happens, at the start of that massacre. அது வரைக்கும் it was very tough for me to watch.
Yeah.
Like I know that with time I'm not watching these kind of films, so that's also a concern. But still இது வந்து எனக்கு அது வரைக்கும் ஒரு ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ஹாஃப் வரைக்குமே வந்து என்ன இவங்க வந்து இது ஆன்டி நாசி படம்னே எனக்கு புரிய கொஞ்ச நேரம் ஆயிடுச்சு. ஏன்னா இவங்களையும் கெட்டவங்க மாதிரி தான் காய்ப்பாங்க. ஃபர்ஸ்ட் அந்த அவங்க அம்மா வந்து இந்த பையனை வெளியே அனுப்புறது இவங்க சோல்ஜர்ஸ் தானே அது.
ஆமா.
அதுவே வந்து நான் ஒருவேளை இவங்கள தான் தப்பா காமிக்கிறாங்களோ அந்த இது நினைச்சப்போ. பட் அப்புறம் தெரிஞ்சது இட்ஸ் வார் ஆஸ் யூஷுவல் இஸ் ஷிட் அந்த கான்செப்ட்ங்கிறது தான். பட் இட் டுக் மீ லாட் ஆஃப் டைம் ஃபார் தட் டு அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்ட். இவங்க எந்த ஊர் அதுவும் கிளியரா சொல்ல மாட்டாங்க. ஏதோ கிராமம் அந்த அவங்க அவங்க ஊர் பேர். பிகாஸ் ஐ ஹவ் நாட் ரெட் எனிதிங், ஐ டென்ட் நோ தட் இட் எக்ஸிஸ்ட் இன் திஸ் பார்ட் ஆஃப் த வேர்ல்ட். ஸோ அதெல்லாம் வந்து கொஞ்சம் இட் வாஸ் டிஃபிகல்ட் டு ப்ராசஸ் நினைக்கிறேன். அது வந்து எல்லாம் புரிய கொஞ்ச நேரம் ஆச்சு. பட் பிகாஸ் I have watched other Russian films, அந்த இமேஜரிலாம் எனக்கு கொஞ்சம் ரெலவெண்டா இருந்துச்சு. அதனால இது சம்வேர் சிமிலர் டு இட்ங்கிறது தெரிஞ்சது. ஸோ அதுதான் எனக்கு இதுல இருந்து. பட் செகண்ட் ஹாஃப் மேபி வாட் ஐ கன்சிடர் செகண்ட் ஹாஃப் ஃப்ரம் த பாயிண்ட் அந்த இது அவங்க அங்கிருந்து சான்ஸ்லெஸ் அந்த மாதிரி ஒரு ஷாக்கிங் ஃபீல் கிவிங் வார் ஃபிலிம் ஆர் த ஹேட்ரட் டுவர்ட்ஸ் வார் அந்த இது ஃபீல் பண்ணது வந்து ஆஃப் லேட் இப்போ அவ்வளோ பார்க்கறது. பட் ஓவரால் இதுல வந்து அந்த அளவுக்கு இது பண்ணது எனக்கு எந்த படம் அப்படி தோணல.
Vijay. Hi Vijay.
Hi Vijay. Vijay comes only for these type of special films.
Yeah, so happy.
No, 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 no.
Yeah.
Lately I've been like a little busy with the personal stuff. But this week I was free, so I thought actually this film was in my watch list for a long time, but I avoided it because of the subject.
Mm.
So now I got the reason to watch it, and yeah, so yeah, as like I also expected it to be like gruesome and all that. First of all, it's Russian, so they would make it realistic or they create that kind of an atmosphere. So I kind of expected, but till first off, I couldn't understand why there was so much hype or about the violence and all that. But yeah, from the second half, it was very unsettling. um yeah, so I was like really what shocked, and I couldn't watch it for the one viewing. But first, I took a very perfect interval. After the interval only this whole thing starts. Before that, so I just took a nap and just okay. Then I started okay. Let me just drag and watch it, and then it got really interesting. And yeah, it is very obviously. Yeah, I could understand the hype around the movie. The acting, obviously, that kid, I just searched him. He is also currently working actor. I thought there would be certain kind of kids actors, right, who just do the best stuff and just vanish. I thought that kind of, but this guy is still working, so I don't know how he has pulled off this performance. Yeah, and yeah.
This part of the see, I've seen my fair share of uh, um, films about Holocaust, the stories about World War II. So this part of that the Nazi occupation, which is Belarus, that side I've not really, none of the literature that I've read or the films that I've watched, documentaries that I've watched, that for some reason it never spoke about this side of it. Okay. There's a very gruesome detail that really shocked me is 30% of that country was actually killed during the war in Belarus. It's a small region inside the Soviet Union. It used to be inside the Soviet Union, and now it's Belarus is probably one of
Yeah,
the
just to interrupt that one country I got familiar because when Russia took on Ukraine, that was the only country I think one or two countries that was supporting. Yeah,
supporting. So that Belarus is a pro-Putin government. So basically, out of all the they are the only ones who are supporting Russia. So that's how I also came to know about Belarus and this side of uh, the scale of the massacre was just unimaginably horrific. I don't know what it's I've been thinking about this for the last I also watched it in two sittings. Okay, so I've been thinking about this uh, the uh, it's every time I think about this concentration camps, how the whole thing unfolded during that period. One thought keep coming back to me is the how was it possible for them to push human beings to that extent? No, that is a thought that keeps the whole that second half the massacre scene, right before the massacre scene. I was telling my wife, wow, see, this is the film that this is the first film which has they have till that particular point, till the point that I watched, told her that see, they have not shown even one sexual violence in that film. There's such a they have not shown so much bloodshed, violence. But the film is very unsettling, and it's very grim and all that. So it's a great film. That's what I was telling. And then, because until that point, the most difficult scene was either him, struggling through that, through the dirt and that, to find his family, and what happens after that. The whole village surrounding him and crying. Either that or the cow getting shot. Those are the two scenes that are such difficult ones. I did not realize until that point that okay, the big gun is just coming after that, and I was blown away. The just cannot wrap my head around. It is, and I read one of the director, the Elem Klimov statement that this is this is the max that they can show on screen. It's still not close to real. Uh, Getting my head around that is something that uh, I understand mob mentality. I understand when hatred um, is legitimized by the state. How it can, how it what it can lead to, but still, um, how were they able to do this? Uh, how were they able to do this kind of, what we have, uh, whenever we think about the concentration camps, what happened inside the concentration camps, the level of cruelty that was inflicted, the level of, the genocide that was committed, all that was, okay, it was happening inside that concentration camp. Not, I mean, we cannot justify it, but it's like, human beings were, some got behind, we were ordered to do so. That's one of the common things that came out of all that. We were ordered to do so. And okay, that keeping that aside, but what we see here is exactly what we have read about any invading army, the pillaging and all that happens, right? Um, I mean, the invasion that happened in the previous century. We are talking about, I mean, in the olden days, how when armies from one kingdom, when they invade another, this is exactly what was happening. They killed, they killed men, raped women, burnt their houses, and stole their property. Stole. This is the template with which most invading armies operate. Um, Now that just seeing that on screen was just, I've never, I don't think I'll ever be able to watch a film like this again. That was the impact of the film.
But when we, even though we are talking all about the second half of the film, even the director would have known from that point. It's easy to grasp the attention of people because it's forced and it's on your face. But what happens till that is what actually makes the film great. I think just typical to how an Ayrathil Oruvan. Even though the second half, even though the first half is what we get that Indiana Jones version and all that thrilling part, it's the second half which actually makes the film, right? I think similar to this, while watching the second half or with every part which happens, and especially when the climax, I love the editing in the climax, the cuts to the Hitler. So when it happens to that part, we start to envision what trauma the people would have undergone till then, right? Till that point, till the massacre happens, we we know that the mood is unsettling. We know people are acting weird. They are acting weird, right? It's not normal human behavior which they are having. So, but we don't understand what really had happened. Then after we see such thing happening, we tend to accept that humans can behave in any way they want, because after seeing this thing, they can't be real humans. You quoted a great example for 4 months, 3 weeks, like with the stress level with the girl has at that point, she could even be waxing her legs. Like that's a great point. So similar to that, with the trauma level that they are having, they could be doing literally anything. Like you can't even imagine. So probably that, I guess that's the idea. People who had known a little bit or understood or been part or heard of that stuff would have able to got a glimpse of what they were undergoing in the first half. But for us, it's only towards the climax we tend to understand what the families feel, what is that thing, and what's the aura around the whole thing. So a couple of things I wanted to point out. I think before Vijay joined, we discussed the imageries of the film, right? I think this is one of the what least glamorized imageries that we had of the film. The only shot which felt beautiful was the one where it rains and they both like he lifts her and there's a rainbow also, I guess. So that's the only imagery which feels good. And every time a bomb explodes and they had done something different. I don't know how, like the technical aspect of it, but when it bombs and it feels as if the area is getting enclosed, right, with the smoke or something. We have seen a lot of war films, but this type of feel hasn't happened in anything.
I know the reason.
Yeah.
They did not have sufficient protection while filming that bombing sequences. So basically, they did not use blanks. So generally, what happens in films is when the shoot when you see scenes of shooting, right? They don't use actual bullets. It's an actual gun, but what they have is inside. They call it as a blank. Okay, so that blank is what is actually fired. So and there is a you will have red paint or some kind of animal blood or something strapped to the other guy, and he has to when it's a synchronized choreographed one.
Yeah.
So they use something called blank. Apparently, these guys did not use blank. They used live ammunition. Okay. And some of the bombing sequences, they planted the bombs underground, and the distance between the camera and they were actually playing with fire. They were literally playing with fire the whole film. So the good thing is, thankfully, no one was injured or anything, but they took a risk there. So that's the reason why, because of the proximity of camera and the spot where they planted the bombs, the smoke engulfing it, the camera, that it's nothing but the real blast has created that smoke that engulfed the camera.
And frames also generally in a war film, just to showcase the canvas, it used to be wide. Here it was all close frame. Right?
4:3, right? It's proper 4:3 that made it that elongating the vertical was very evident. Yeah,
that's a great idea.
Yeah, and the planes that used to come right from the first and then middle somewhere. The plane, I was a little confused whether it was of Russians or the Germans.
German planes.
German only, right?
German.
Because the first time when they see those two boys, one with the gun, right? Why didn't they shoot them? I got a question. I don't know why they did not respond or something like that. The first time they saw it.
First time, yeah, first time once the firing starts, they go and hide, isn't it? So there was a firing that starts, so that's why they immediately go and hide in a ditch. And then only he pulls out that rifle and
No. The plane comes after he gets the rifle, and he is just standing there as a kind of soldier, and the other kid is also standing beside.
oh,
I think maybe they didn't see, I guess. You'll point at the plane. It's possible, right? It's only one person is there,
Yeah.
and it's
But there is a
possible.
deliberate shot of an aerial shot where it's one of the few aerial shots that we see where they show from the point of view of someone inside the plane. We see these two boys, but they did not really expand on that, isn't I think.
Yeah, I think I got it because so there was a next. I think somewhere the next scene, there is one bottle that comes down. I
Ah,
think a whiskey bottle. So then he
yeah,
says they use all ours and then throw the waste on us. So
yeah.
that, yeah, I think that would it is Germans. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think,
Also, the sound was also unsettling. I'm not sure whether they had played with the frequency to make it happen. Did you read
yeah.
anything about it?
I was that the most uncomfortable thing in this film for me was the sound. Uh, the I don't know because he goes does he go deaf in the film because of the
The
blast?
first time the bombs
Uh,
gets blasted right, with
uh,
the girl, that is, I think he gets that surprise of he gets the realism of the war. Yeah,
uh.
that's what.
Yeah, he
That's,
So
I
doesn't go
think
deaf.
he gets a little deaf that time, I think.
he gets a little deaf, right? There is this
Yeah.
that whole scene where he goes to the village and there the sound was very unsettling. I don't know if I that I don't know what he is hearing. It feels like he's hearing uh, some crying and shouting in his ears, but it's so muffled and that was creating a very unsettling feeling because you can see the Glasha's character, right? She's shouting to him, but
Yeah.
we hear it in a very muffled tone. I was that part was very unsettling.
All this torture that we have to undergo to watch a film for the club, it keeps reminding of the dialogue that we see keep saying the trouble that we have to undergo for this is right. That's how it
I
was done.
think we need a documentary of how this film was shot. I think, is it there? I don't know. Like for Apocalypse now we have that, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Apocalypse Now commentary is actually very good. It's
Uh-huh.
a big film and the commentary is very nice. This one I
Okay.
don't consider.
So,
It's, yeah, I
so
think it's there.
so one thing, um, there is generally something happens with we unintentionally choose films for the club, and there comes a historical connection on the day that we choose to talk about the film. You know what?
Yeah.
This day before yesterday, I was driving and there was a in the National Public Radio (NPR) there was they were talking about July 18, 1925 when the first edition of Mein Kampf, Hitler's book that which is the starting point of all this, right, was released. So basically, it's 100 years of Mein Kampf. They were talking about that, and I was completely, I was like, oh my God, what's happening? It's,
Some
it's
the Kanchana.
this is happening again and again and again and again. This is probably fourth or fifth instance something like this has happened. It's like okay, fine. Okay, so something is there in the universe making us choose these films. So
One question I had like is this boy really sane or is he a half wit?
in the story, I think what I understand is uh, there is a there is a glorification of so this is the first scene is a very important scene where one boy takes the role of the German commander, and so this is something that kids enact, right? They take
Yeah.
roles of character these be it they enact a scene from a film, they enact some historical sequence and all that. So this is something like that. So in that world, there is a war is basically glorified. He's a teenage boy who wants to fight. Okay, it's he does not understand what is fighting. He does not understand. I am pretty sure he does not even know how to fire a gun. And if I'm not wrong, he did not fire a gun the whole film. The first bullet that he fires is on the Hitler's photograph at the end. So he's just a kid who does not understand what he's getting into. I think it's just genuine happiness that he's going to go on some kind of an adventure. At the beginning. So probably few of the things, the way he smiles and all that, I think you might have got that feeling because he's a non-professional actor. When the film, they did not want to choose a professional actor. The reasoning is the reason the director has given is he did not want to choose someone professional because professionals can get out of that character. He did not want someone who will get out of that character. And he wanted to ensure that after the film was ended, also he stays in touch with the kid so that he comes out of that world. During that shoot, he wanted him to be in that world. He wanted him to be in that zone. How a person was experienced that horrors will be. And after that, he wanted to help him ensure that he's rehabilitated and he's out of that world. So that is the reason why good actors have the capability to get out and this thing. The thing is that will be a great performance, but you will not get what you see here. The best actors would have probably they would have given a performance better than this, but you will not see this.
Correct. The
That is
classic
really
example is Apocalypse Now, right? The very first thought which comes to our mind when we talk about Apocalypse Now is Marlon Brando.
Yeah.
So much happening in the film, but we think only of Marlon Brando. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it also helped the kid because I think the sequence of all the events is just one after the other. There is no jumping back and forward. So I think he made him carry. Maybe he planned it out, as you
Yeah.
said, like with the unprofessional, and also what could help him do
Yeah.
that kind of performance. So yeah. And also one more thing, what Vikram you asked, right? Like whether like the behavior of the kid, I kind of uh, I mean I may be wrong, I kind of see the similarity between the what happens with the kids in the Afghanistan, Middle East people, where the war is so common. In some movies I have seen, but whether it is real or not, like the kids, they are like kind of looking at the terrorists or whoever holding the gun as the hero or something. So maybe that kind of a image is built in his mind, or maybe yeah.
Yeah, I think it's possible, isn't it? You tend to um, the what is happening around you is what you tend to you are witnessing that every day, and
Yeah, the environment dictates the mind.
exactly. It's like you see people, you see guns and firing, and you read about it, and the next thing is you're going to start role playing that. So it's something that is an unavoidable thing that that is going to come up with respect to kids. Yeah, that's
I
what
don't know whether we
what
discussed
you.
in the club or not. Vijay, if you have not watched, because you talked about this Afghanistan film, there's a film called Paradise Now. Try to watch that. It's an amazing film.
Paradise Now.
Yeah, it's an amazing film. Don't read about it. Watch it directly.
I will just note it down somewhere. Yeah.
And okay, this gave me a semi answer. Like probably, I think I myself answered the question. Because of this war, we can't really define how humans work around it. Probably, and the fact that maybe he's too young to even understand stuff's happening. Maybe he would have born at a time when the war was already happening, or maybe in the grasp of it. So it's all very common for him to see the shellings or people getting died, and probably for him, the most heroic people were the ones who were going to the war. His mother makes more sense because whether you're pro or against, going to war is the end of you, right? That probably it makes sense a little bit now, I guess.
The one part that I was little bit um, I had a difference with the film is the real the ending. Okay. That he keeps shooting and the images cut to the real footage. They show Holocaust. Then prior to that, Hitler's images, Hitler getting elected, Hitler as a youth, then Hitler as a child. For each situation, he was able to fire a bullet. But the final part where Hitler is on the mother's lap. That is the point. Actually, that's actually not a real image. So it was
Okay.
two images that was combined by the director. So there is a
Okay.
separate image of Hitler's mother and separate image of Hitler as a baby. So he has superimposed both and he has created that image of a baby Hitler. This is a common thing that keeps whenever you talk about time travel and all that, people when they combine time travel and world war, this is what they go to. What if you go back in time, kill the baby Hitler? It's I was I don't I did not like that part because it is, if not for him, another person would have come. It's just the environment that existed at that point created that space for someone like Hitler. The moment we start, um, the moment we start uh, saying that X person is responsible for this, Y person could have prevented this. It's not like that, right? It's the system. What system was created at that point, it 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 gave the space for someone like Adolf Hitler to rise to power. Now you can always. It's like there is a huge system that supported Hitler. There is a huge system that supported Hitler, which includes companies, corporations that are very famous now.
Yeah.
Very famous now. Those corporate, I don't. I mean, for the risk of I don't want this video to get blocked because we start naming those corporations in this video. So these corporations employed workers. I mean the prisoners in the concentration camps. These are companies that German companies that existed at this point. There's a so it's a huge system that was like in the Tamil சினிமாலலாம் வந்து they use one line கண்ணை காமிச்சிட்டு ஆனா அது என்ன இது பண்ணிட்டு வானா அதை பண்ணிட்டு வந்துருவாங்க அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு you ask them to uh, uh, take a finger, they'll take a head and come அப்படின்னு. That's exactly what happened here. Whatever were Hitler's orders, there was a huge system that actually implemented it perfectly to the um, uh, implemented it perfectly without any remorse whatsoever. So by this film, by um, it's fine. It's a child's anger that is being shown, but the way that whole imagery goes, I was like, it could have been for a film of this caliber. I expected a little bit more.
Oh, so first to answer about the institution's role in this, there's a shot of a car coming with a clear symbol of Mercedes in it, right? I don't know whether there is any other film which captures that. And when you talk about this one, I like the climax. It felt like 400 blows kind of climax. He doesn't shoot the kid, right? He it ends
No.
he doesn't shoot, so it ends with that kid. So how I read it is why it was a great scene is just that scene, the scene before it. There is one of the Nazi guy who talks how they shouldn't exist, and all the problems happens because of the kids. He says that statement, and then this happens, and he goes from the present to the past till the point that uh, happens to the kid, and probably he resonates with what he says. The Nazi guy says whether he would have because the problems is with kid, whether he would have shot Hitler when he was actually a kid, and because at that point it makes him think. I don't think he would have done that's the thing which the film tries to do, I guess. If he had shown that after the kid also, if he had got angry, then it would have been literal and maybe a problematic ending. But because it stops there, and it's on our face, right? That frame is on our face, so and it makes us think whether till that point we also would be hating Hitler, but at that point we started thinking, oh, what this innocent kid would have done. Like, because the kids who are coming to Earth are not designed to do this. It's something that, as you said, it's environment and whatever other reasons which should have led to this. So it throws so much thoughts on it with that frame. I love that way it.
Yeah, that part, right, where the okay, the Hitler is the villain, but we don't think. I mean, we don't want to see them as the kid when they are the kid. I kind of saw like I got an idea where the in our generic film dramas where their son is betraying the parents or something, or doing something wrong in the society or doing like that. I should have killed you when you were a kid. We used to get those kinds of dialogues before a lot. Now I don't know. Yeah, I think it is a very old style of things. But yeah, it is. I think it's kind of a universal thing that you cannot go back to the kid and kill him. And yeah, that worked me for as well. Whatever they showed in the climax.
Okay. And one, I was just reading about uh, the actual massacre that the film is based on. So it's a village called Katyn, Khatyn. Okay, so that is so it's called as a Katyn massacre. So now the 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 part that was very interesting to read about it. Okay, I deliberately use the word interesting because in the same name there is a different massacre. Okay, now that does not have a H. It's called Katyn, Katyn, and the film so that I read one version of interpretation where this happened for real. There are no deniers for this. But this became famous because the Soviets made it famous. They highlighted this massacre to the world. They built memorials. So that memorial, Katyn Memorial in Belarus, was visited by Fidel Castro, and Rajiv Gandhi apparently went there. So the heads of states visits that memorial. Okay, now one historian has claimed that they 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 um, made a big deal out of they built the memorial and all that because they wanted to distract people from the other massacre that Soviets committed. Okay, so that the other one which does not have a H. Katyn is a massacre that the Soviets committed on Polish soldiers during their when they were um, the Polish soldiers who were fighting on the Nazi side or something like that. They were massacred in a place called Katyn, and that is in today's thing. That was also a war crime. What was committed by the Soviets under Stalin, but the the part where these two gets the film and the other thing merges, right, is Elem Klimov. What he thought is whenever people think of Katyn massacre, they think of that other one, but not the one shown in the film. So he wanted to make it to the make it a point to make a film about this, so that people remember this one and not that other one. I actually that relation is what I found it very interesting. Uh, it's like oh my God, can some
ஜிகர்தண்டால இந்த பாபி சிம்மா சொல்ற மாதிரியா ஏன்டா போட்டோ ஒழுங்கா போடல.
Yeah, I think Vikram, when you said that whatever explanation in Wikipedia, I think political came right. I think this could be the political part of this movie, maybe. And one more thing, what I got to know, like uh, Steven Spielberg, before he made Schindler's List and Saving Private Ryan, he made the crew watch this film. I don't know, multiple times or single time, but yeah, that was how much he was also affected by this.
And good that you spotted these films. Now, there's a stark difference between these two films. Like as
Yeah.
great as it might be, look how a blockbuster director makes a war film versus a person who wants to show something makes a war film, right? Anyone can watch the war films by Spielberg. It shows his greatness as well. Like we shouldn't just comment because it's not like this film. It's not necessary that every film has to be like come and see. It shows how great a director Spielberg is, that he's able to make people watch the film and still get what he tries to say, as opposed to a come and see when it's very difficult to watch.
Yeah, I think his goal is to make the people watch as much as he can. Whereas here, what is like, I want to be true to the event. That's, I think that is the mainly
that is
difference. And
that
one
is
more thing, oh sorry, one more thing to add in this, Michael Haneke, I think once in the interviews, why this came up, I don't know, like the interviewer asked, what do you think about the movies that are made on the Holocaust? So he was like literally bashing against the Steven Spielberg movies which he has done about Holocaust because he thinks that that event should not be a part of an entertainment rather than it should be what it should be like. It has to be whatever, if you want to show that event, it has to be true to that. You should not filter out because for the entertainment, or you don't need to do that thing. Like I kind of now think it's what he was making a point. What do you
Yeah,
think?
probably it's subjective first of all, and it's probably, see, if Steven Spielberg had not made a Schindler's List, we would not have progressed to a stage where we could have watched Come and See, right? No one is directly going to watch Come and See. So if it takes effort for us who are film buffs to take this much time to come and to watch Come and See, it has to be a step-by-step procedure only, and there has to be directors of all realm who should exist in cinema, and he's doing a stellar job. Because Spielberg, we can't complain at all. He's a master. So Probably, yeah, it's subjective. I can clearly understand why Haneke would have said like this, because we know how his films would be. So,
It's,
but it's
I,
subjective.
so I think 94 Schindler's List came out, I think. Okay.
Okay.
97 Spielberg made a film, which I actually I watched it very recent, some few years back only. So the film is called Amistad. It has Morgan Freeman, Matthew McConaughey. It's about
Huge cast.
on the verge of the American Civil War. Now there is a sequence, 5 minute sequence that happens in the film. I have never seen such imagery in a Spielberg film. That 5 minutes, the horrific, how the some of what happened to the slaves aboard that ship. That 5 minutes, right? You will never. It's not something that it, I don't know. I was just so taken aback by that 5 minutes that I did not even go and read about that. The reason I'm talking about that is um, the the it's a point that I keep thinking about. Okay, over the course of me revisiting all those, watching all those Holocaust movies. So, Vijay, you might not know. So back in office, like 10 years back exactly. So I started this spree of watching Holocaust films one after the other, right from Boy in Striped Pajamas. I watched it till I was able to go till Vittoria De Sica's. No, I forgot the name of the film. He made a Holocaust film. So I was trying to watch so many Holocaust films during that time, which included watching Triumph of the Will, the Nazi propaganda film by Leni Riefenstahl. So over the course of this, there was one particular film that had a very controversial conversation in our Infosys movies deal, which is Life is Beautiful. Life is Beautiful approached it with comedy. It's forget if we have a problem with Schindler's List. Now, Life is Beautiful takes it to a different level. Now the thing is that so few of the members in that distribution list had a problem that you cannot make a comedy out of a tragedy. So it's a thing that I keep thinking about whether um, is it okay to make a film about it? Is it okay to what is the narrative style should be? What is the genre that film has to be in? Keep thinking about it. Now, I settled in my head on one thing. You you cannot make so for example, you cannot make take a story like Sairat and make it into a very palatable story by completely by completely hiding the problem. That is wrong. But what Spielberg did there is he toned down the horrors. He toned down so for example, the end of Schindler's List is such a very when I say end, it's not the actual end. There is one scene where a bunch of women are taken into the gas chambers, and ultimately it's water that is coming out of that. It's not the gas, but water. It's not the poison, but it's water coming out of that, and you'll now now that scene, right? For me is one of the most horrific scenes in that film. Forget everything else because in until that point they had not shown the inside of the gas chamber, what happens inside, and all that. And suddenly we know what is going to happen. We know in our head we have heard throughout the film. But the witnessing that scene was such a difficult thing, and you feel a sense of relief at the end of it. So I've come to this conclusion in my head that as long as the we don't hide the problem, we don't show something as we don't show a problem, and we lie about the underlying root cause. As long as we are not doing that, it's okay to tone down the violence. It's okay to make it palatable to the watchers, because ultimately, um, the when we overdo the violence, one thing the filmmakers have to be very careful is uh, uh, the one thing that is horrific to one person can be titillating to another person. This is the problem when we talk about all the films that deal with sexual violence, child abuse, and all that, right? The way filmmakers portray the scenes, it is easy to go from horrific to titillation. This is they use a, what is that term they use? Torture porn. It easily becomes torture porn in a lot of cases. This that is the problem with excessive violence on screen. If you start showing things as exactly they are, even this film is a it's like this is a toned down version of it. In a truck, you see a girl pushed into a truck, and finally we see the same girl walking back, with blood covered all over her body. Now, they don't show anything else. We know exactly what happened there. We know exactly what's going to happen there. It's uh, that's a tricky conversation to have. But finally, in my head, the the horrors of what exactly happened, it's okay to tone down on it. It's okay to show as little as possible. But we should not lie about what is the problem. We that I think is the is the that is where, because except we talk about so many the recent Vetrimaran films, Vidudalai, a couple of ones, Jaivim before that. There is the violence that is shown, right? It feels like it is taking away the conversation from the real problem. Is what is the actual problem, and uh, it it has a tendency to the excessive violence has a tendency to narrow down narrow down um, um, the oppression towards one single person. What happens in JB? It has the risk of um, taking a problem that is this wide and constraining it to one single person, one single family. Uh, because there's excessive importance given to what happened to that one person. I know the stories about that one person, but when we start doing so many things about, I mean, so much violence is shown beyond that one person, right? It has the risk of doing that, taking you away from the actual problem. That's the risk. That's what.
Yeah, I think when they are handling such a kind of subject, this I think what I have to summarize is like they have to be true to that event, up, uh, but I mean they can take it as like a comment, see kind of a violence or kind of a Schindler's List or saving parents and but yeah, but they should not tone down and come out of that. I mean, it shouldn't be like the truth of the event is it should not be very confusing at the end of it, whether it is of the that person or it is the whole event that they have to take care. Yeah.
Yeah. I um, there is one film that I really love about Holocaust. Okay. I mean, I'm using words that I cannot. I'm using words like interesting, love, like all this for this genre of films. I don't know what anyone who's listening to this might think of me. There's a film called Oa les Enfants. It's a French film. It's Goodbye, My Children. So it's by Louis Malle made that film. So it is the best for me. It's the best Holocaust film ever made. Okay, there is no single scene where they show anything that happens in a concentration camp. Okay, they don't show any violence. There's zero violence in the film. It is happening inside inside a school hostel where there is predominantly Christian children, and the father of the principal, that father has is giving place to a Jewish. He's trying to protect a Jewish kid who's escaping the war inside that hostel. Okay, inside that school. This is the whole story. Okay, but the way that whole thing happens, right? Their focus will be on how that existing the lies that has been perpetuated during that point, how that has affected children, and you will see them taking the role playing that I was talking about, right? They would have taken that role playing when they are playing football inside the school. One person will say, "I'm this, you are this, you made me do this," and all those things. It's one of the best films that I've watched. If you're not, I really anyone who wants to watch Holocaust films, I don't tell them to watch Schindler's List or anything else. But this is a film that is a must watch, and it has. Later, I realized that has Julie Delpy also in that film. So Julie Delpy is the actress from the Before Sunrise, Before Sunset series. So she's a very I mean she's very young in that film. She's the piano teacher in that film. So it's one of those amazing films that I watched. You guys should definitely try that. That film is a good um, that film is what my views are predominantly. You showed you can show the most difficult things, the most violent things without showing violence. It's more when you don't show violence, it's more impactful on screen. And a second film, not exactly a Holocaust film, but along the same topic, there is a film called She Said. It's a story about how two New York Times journalists, when they covered the Me Too movement and the Harvey Weinstein scandal, that how they covered it, how they spoke to the victims, and how they brought that story out. There was two things happening. One with Ronan Farrow at New Yorker, and these two female journalists at New York Times. Now, the reason I mentioned this is there is Harvey Weinstein. There was so much sexual violence, sexual abuse, sexual violence on women. Right now, they don't show any violence. None of that is shown on screen. All you see is the clothing on different sides of the bed and on the floor and all that. It's an image that I'm not able to get it out of my head. It's like you don't show exactly you don't show the actual sexual violence. You don't even play the audio of the guy abusing another person, but all you show is just stills of the clothing around that floor. That was like that's why I keep repeating this in every conversation, every discussion, that you don't have to show violence for impact. But I understand this film, I'll no criticisms on this film's show of violence. This is uh the intention of the film is different. But the other ones which are trying to take films to a mainstream audience, then trying to show violence is them trying to show violence for the shock value. That's where I have a serious problem.
Yeah, like using the violence as a hooking factor. That is a
Exactly.
problem. Yeah.
Like that. Okay. Any other thoughts, guys?
Now I want to watch Kobayashi's film. It's been in my list for long, but I don't know whether I could complete 3 films.
Yeah.
Human
French
condition.
film you said
Human
that
condition.
Sorry,
French film you said, right? What was the name?
not
It's
French.
Ova les enfants, the French title. English is Goodbye My Children. Goodbye Children.
Goodbye Children. Okay.
Goodbye Children. It's Louis Malle. Louis Malle is a fantastic filmmaker.
Okay.
He's a fantastic filmmaker that I used to associate him with the French New Wave. But in one of my bus rides with Praveen corrected me and said Louis Malle was there even before the French New Wave. But of course, the lot of his films came during the time when Truffaut and Godard was making as well. So he was there before that, but for convenience sake, I have bracketed him under the French New Wave. Yeah, you should definitely try that. In case you guys watch Oval Enfant, just text me and say what did you guys feel about it. I'm very it's I don't know if Praveen is still there in our group, that it's one of his favorite films as well. In my whole that Holocaust series that I wrote, the only film for which Praveen sent an email response for me was for that, saying that he was very happy that I liked this film.
Put it in the
Great
watch list.
conversation today.
Yeah, definitely.
We
Vijay,
will have
seriously,
a gap
this is a much lighter watch list for you. This is a much lighter film for you to watch compared to what is that 4 weeks sorry 4 months,
films.
3 weeks, 2 days. This one, compared to all this, it's a that is a very light watch.
Thanks a lot, guys. Thanks for joining the session. And when every now and then, because now we are doing every alternate week, right? There used to be thoughts coming up. Why should we really be doing it? So, but every time the session ends, right, we feel, yeah, this is the right thing to do, whether it works or not. Having a talk like this, discussion like this is what makes us going. Yep, thank you. Thanks a lot. And next week also we are gonna, not the next week, the next session also we're gonna have a great film. We'll be discussing Girls Will Be Girls. So it's an amazing film. Yeah, I think next week probably people who watch would be able to resonate more with it. And please try to make it to the next session as well. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Vikram. Bye.
Bye.